Need to do public comment from the executive session.
Maybe, because I think we need to go in executive session.
We'll move to public comment just in front of the executive session. Other than that, is there any other changes, additions, or deletions? Not, the chair entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Butler, second by Mr. Sherman's. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same, you've had the minutes before you for approximately a week. View those notes if there's any changes or additions or deletions.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sherman, second by Ms. White. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Superintendent information, Mr. Humphrey.
Well, see the packet out. I put a letter in there with some information and dates for you to consider for our fall board retreat. Franklin was able to talk with the president of Wiregrass, and they're going to make a room available for us to have it there, because they will also, as part of that, be presenting information on our Rush grant that is going to be providing distance learning. They will be able to do that, and they will cater the meal. They will do all the work for that, so it will be a really good environment to have our board retreat. So just need to settle on the date where I can go ahead and call and make the arrangements. That's a Tuesday and Thursday in September, and of course Tuesday and Thursday
Last one, so this
October.
month
Yeah.
in September.
That's pretty quick, but those were the dates they had available. And if none of the above work, we can,
Not the 11th, also a Tuesday, Thursday.
any preference?
25th is good for me.
I'm good with that. Tom Rude? Randy?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and set it up again. The second thing there, we have a large amount of information in the packet that was sent out. It was the press release from Dr. John Barge explaining and outlining his position on the charter school amendment and letting you know why he's opposed to it. We've shared this with faculty and staff. And tonight we'll be asking for you to approve a resolution opposing it for the same reasons that he's outlined here. It's just a little more specific to our situation.
We would print that resolution in the paper too.
We can. We cannot use, if the paper wanted to put it with open records request, they could do that.
Yeah.
We can't use, I don't think, the money to put that in there if it's a political position. But,
The way I understood it, if the state chooses to start up a charter school, they don't have to go through the local school board to do so. They can just approve it sui sponte, if you will.
right, and getting into D on what I have there, that information, these are the two bills. 1162 is the bill that actually will put the amendment to a vote, which is going to be on the November 6th ballot. 797 is the enabling legislation that goes with it. Now, that outlines very completely and clearly how this will operate, and basically there will be political appointees. If this does pass, then there will be political appointees, and by that legislation, what they can do is, if a charter school in this area, they can submit a petition for charter to this local board and simultaneously to this new created commission. charter commission. The last one was declared unconstitutional, that's why we're going through this vote. We'd have 60 days to respond. And so then they would have the opportunity to approve or deny a charter school after it's been denied by a local board. Now, the reason local boards are opposed to it is not because there aren't good reasons for charter schools, there can be. And if a local school board chooses to approve that, we would be also choosing to use local tax dollars to support it. What this does, if this passes, allows this commission to approve the funding at a higher rate for these charter school students than what we receive in public education. Now, right now, we're only getting 81 cents on the dollar. What I have here are just over the last 5 years, what our attendance has been and what these cuts, austerity cuts, let's cut more of those down here. What those cuts have told, just over the past 5 years, you see our attendance has gone up, and the amount this year in this allotment sheet was $1,305,000 that they deducted. So in total, over the past 5 years, almost $5 million that has been withheld from us that we've earned through the QBE system. So John Barge's argument and mine, and I think yours as well, would be, well, if we're not funding our current system adequately, how are we going to find additional funding for these charter schools? Because House Bill 797, as it's written right now, will give charter school students about 2.5 times the funding that we receive for public education students. I don't believe the state can afford it. I don't believe they should override a local decision. And that's the stance that our state school superintendent and every local school superintendent in the state is taking. And I know that tonight, every school board in our recent district that hasn't already passed one of these resolutions is being asked to pass one. I think Colquitt County had already passed one, but of our 12, when we met last Thursday, they were all planning on doing that at their next meeting. So that kind of combined Dr. John Barge's press release and what I was going to share with you. I gave you a little bit of a PowerPoint that I shared with some of our teachers, and I figured there might be more information that we needed to try to share tonight at this meeting, but that's what we have. Unless you have questions, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
So we need to vote on the resolution?
And when we get that for the action item, we ask that we vote on it and that each of you sign it and that we send it to the governor. Our state representative, who I thought was Jason, of course, he's supported. He's one of the few that stood against it when 1162 was brought up. Our senator, we'd like to send it to him and remind him that we oppose that because it's not good for public schools. That under C was awards recognition for the training that occurs in at the end of November, 1st of December, the GSBA board training. If you go to that conference and several are going, if there were anyone, and I think the one that we checked, we've got some close on that, but trying to find it out, I don't see it. Members that might have been on the board for 15 years. Mr. Ehrlich was at 13, is that correct? I want to be sure we're right. Okay, so, because there's a service pin award at 15, 25, and 30. So we'll get you in a couple of years. But then there were these awards that if you wanted as a board member to make a recommendation, then you can do so. This time, strictly on that presentation, our schools will go through the accreditation process this year. Every 5 years, we go through what we know as SACS, it's under advanced ed, but we're also accredited by the Georgia Accrediting Commission. And so tonight we have certificates that each of our schools are accredited with quality. That's the highest accreditation that they give to hand out through our schools. You want to hand those out? That's our primary school. Ms. Trey Richardson, Georgia Accrediting, accredited with quality at our primary school. And Ms. Moore, our elementary school, accredited with quality.
Good quality.
And Ms. Ham is on her way back from some training in Atlanta that she's been at for our middle school, so I'll be sure that she gets that. But our middle school is accredited with quality, and for Mr. Culpepper, the high school.
Congratulations.
And that leaves the system. The system is accredited with quality, and I'll accept that on our behalf. But we're proud of our schools that we maintain these standards from year to year. That's all in the superintendent's information. One thing that I did not put there, along with this opposition to charter school amendment, GSBA and GSSA are holding regional meetings. The next one is the 18th, and it will, they're inviting people from each county school board in the 3 South Georgia region districts to bring a team of people. They wanted at least 2 board members. I've spoken with Franklin about coming. I'm not sure if he's able to go. That's the 18th.
September.
And we need, it's going to be at Tifton at the vocational school. And I will take a car. I talked to Sandy Sanders, and is going as representative for Chamber of Commerce, and so Sandy's going to go with us. And we'll have a couple of others going. They asked that we have a couple of school board members there. And what they're going to do, basically, we'll meet there at 7 o'clock and have about a 2-hour update and planning session. They've already started these in the metro Atlanta area, and they're coming to South Georgia, so we'll get to hear what they've already been doing in those areas to try and oppose this charter school amendment. So if anybody would like to volunteer, and if 2 or 3 would like to go, that'd be fine. I mean, we said 2, but
And that's to be there at 7
be there at 7 o'clock
a.m. or p.m.
p.m. and it'll last 2 hours. No taxpayer funds can be used as this is it's not allowed for us to use it, so it'd be at our expense, and whatever we do will be at our expense, not the school, because there are ways that we can make statements without spending tax dollars.
Can I nominate Tommy Ruth for the chair?
I'd love to have Tom Russo.
I'm trying to figure out what day the 18th is.
So next Tuesday?
It's
Next Tuesday.
next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday?
It's at the Moultrie Tech building in Tifton, so.
I can try to do it if I get a pass. Randy, you get a pass?
I'll go.
I'm gonna have to pass on, but we're working on that new church out there. We're working on
We can do that.
out there right now.
We could, if you're gonna be working there that late, we'll swing through and pick it up.
Oh, yeah, what time we leaving? We're there usually. They kick us out now at 6 o'clock. They set an alarm.
We were gonna leave here by
I'll be
6, no
home.
later than 6.
I'll be
Okay.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I told Sandy I'd pick him up and say, he'll let us get back.
Maybe teaching might work late.
Anyone else wanna go?
Come on, boys.
Okay,
Come
all
on.
right.
We're
Jay
gonna
will
make this
try to
family
go.
affair.
You can have it.
Jay will try to go, and maybe Franklin will be able to go. Okay, well, that completes all of the superintendent's information. Thank you.
Next on our agenda, we have our action items, we have fundraisers and field trips, and it's a fairly lengthy fundraiser. Help me look through them, can we take them in mass?
If everybody's comfortable, have a
Awesome.
look through them, do field trips and fundraisers. the principals here, with the exception of Ms. Hand, to answer any questions that you might have. These are basically routine, each year, very similar. Anything that popped out to me, I've already discussed with principals. And we do have one field trip coming up quickly. Saturday, our band is scheduled to go to play at a Georgia Tech game. I know, Suzanne, I know. But if the Bulldogs would invite them, they'd go play there. They gotta have an invitation. They just don't, that's something they do there for our band and other local bands. And
Well, will they play Glory, Glory to
We wanna do the fundraisers and field trips all at one time? After y'all reviewed it, Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Lanier, have a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Sermons. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
They can play who let the dog out.
Yeah.
We can work with it, we can work with it.
The next item is community explanation.
Direct classroom expenditures resolution.
That's the minimum direct classroom expenditure, requires 65% to be spent on instructional, and it's really, Georgia's the only state that still has this law. Texas, I think, finally abandoned it. Other states that had done so no longer have it. We did not spend quite that much. A big part of that problem is they don't send us last year, which is in the letter, the cover letter for that, $1,280,000 last year. And so that makes us come up a little short there, and we just asked for a waiver and they will grant that. But we have to have this for our financials. When they audit, if they come next to the audit, they'll look and see if we have this in there. We were able to do it for the previous 2 years, and now it's 1 year at a time.
Chair will entertain a motion on that expenditure resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Lanier. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. And the board resolution opposing the charter amendment. That's something that we'll all sign.
Right, we
I
have
saw
one
that.
in here, if you vote to approve it, have a place for all you to sign, and then we'll send it to the appropriate folks. And if the school would like, if the newspapers would like a copy to put in the paper, particularly the last couple of, last three, be it resolved, it's on there, I think are pretty clear. That you will oppose that, the reasons are specified up above, and it directs me to transmit a copy of this to the governor, our appropriate representatives, and the State Board of Education, and the DOE.
And the board resolution opposing the charter amendment, Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Sermons, second.
Second.
First Lanier. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, likewise. Next is our Perkins budget.
Those are the budget items that Kevin Moore needs us to approve so he can have this officially submitted and approved so we can draw down those funds and see how they're expended on those next few pages.
And all that's vocational.
Right. CTAE funds.
Okay. So that we can disperse that, Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
On the move.
Second.
Second. Mr. Lanier, any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Well, that's good. Finally, the tribunal panel member approval.
Our board policy requires that we submit names of teachers to serve on these panels. And so that's, hopefully, we think we have a mix of teachers here. I've spoken with middle and high school, which is, of course, where we primarily have tribunal hearings. We'll have enough folks to take care of that hearing when we have hearings come up, and they do. We have one scheduled pretty soon, and I think a couple more coming up in the near future. But we just need board approval for those to serve.
Do all of them,
These are all certified teachers.
does it require all of them to be there? at the
Oh,
tribunal
no.
hearing, or just
No,
only-
three. Just three of them would serve on each panel. And if it were a middle school student, it would be high school teachers to select to serve on the panel
Sure.
and opposite.
Tribunal panel approval list, Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Sherman's second.
Second.
Mr. Lanier, any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, and that stands approved. Next on our agenda is our substitute teacher list. Take these in mass if there's not any
Right.
relationship issues here. I'll look through the list. Still got some good ones too. Ready? I'll approve all of them one time?
Yeah.
All right, Chair, entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'm ready.
Second.
Second, Mr. Locklear. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Next thing is the financials. Charlie, show me the money.
We're about the same this month, still getting off to a good start. 17% of the year complete, and of course, like I said last month, our revenue will lag just a little bit until we start getting the local revenue in, but right now we're getting the QBE monthly payment from the state, and the expenditures are holding right at where we had those budgeted, and plenty of the cash balances in our bank accounts are holding steady, so we're in good shape. Don't let me off too easy. Say that since Franklin
He would have said that
in
anyway.
here. Yeah.
Any other questions, Mr. Bennett? Thank you, Charlie. Next, we walk around, we have public comment. Do you have any public comment tonight?
Hey, a couple things, Mr. Strickland. First of all, I was wondering what the trigger mechanism is for this charter school legislation. If, say it's passed, what would create a situation for us in which a charter school could just pop up? Wonder what the trigger mechanism is and what our contingency is as a system to prevent that. You know, we're putting a lot of energy into, let's make sure it doesn't pass, but what if it does pass?
You want to address, if there were a charter petition brought before the board, we'd have to take a look at it and see what the charter would be asking. They would have to get our approval. According to this legislation, if this legislation passes, they can submit it simultaneous to us and this newly appointed charter school commission.
do they have
They're
to-
yet to be named.
Do they have to have a reason to just?
Yes, they're supposed to address something that is maybe unique, or some different way of doing things that's contained within the law. But the biggest problem that's on the horizon is that the financial support for these charter schools, 96% of it's coming from outside the state.
Right.
And it's coming from charter companies, corporations that look to come into a state that's charter friendly and find a group of parents
Gotcha.
that will just agree to be a board or panel and then hire them to run the school for them. Charter schools like up in the Cherokee County, they've even gotten one charter school up there $1 million in advance funding from the state. They don't have to pay it back. And if that school fails, that charter company gets to keep that $1 million plus they're drawing off this charter school funding. It already exists. So there's a history of those charter schools failing across the country, and it's a financial drain on taxpayers because they put that money up front and the schools do not perform. But it would be a local decision as to whether we approved or denied a charter.
They're looking to go somewhere, to me, like Clayton County. Clayton County's got major accreditation issues now, and I guarantee you, there's parents that they're in an uproar that probably want a charter school right now because of the public school system and what's going on and all the issues that's happening. Bottom line is, if they put in charter schools anywhere in the state of Georgia, it's gonna affect poor little Lanier County. Although, I'm not worried about us getting a charter school in Lanier County, but it's gonna affect all these small school systems that don't have the funds that Buford, Georgia has. Any of those other Holy Innocents and Savannah Country Day, and we'll just go on with the list.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, and I think what I hear is that we are doing the legwork to make sure there isn't any substantial reason why a group of parents in Lanier County would want to, a number of parents would want to start a charter school, and that's what I think I'm hearing, and that's my hope, that we, just in case it gets passed, we're going ahead and looking at a contingency and trying to do what we can to control variables in that situation. The other comment, Mr. Strickland, was just briefly, I was wondering if maybe the superintendent's office, the board attorney, in conjunction maybe with local law enforcement, if we could get some signs prominently placed, annotating the state statute that covers bringing weapons onto school grounds or onto school buses and that sort of thing. Obviously, it's thinking about the incident that recently happened here in Lanier County. Many schools elsewhere and other government buildings have these admonishments that are very clearly placed, very boldly placed in conspicuous places. And just seems that might be just something else that we could do to maybe lessen the chance that some kid brings a pocket knife or something like that to school.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right. Chair will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved. Second.
Second.